Okay, and just letting you know that I am starting recording now. So my name is Laura. Welcome to Explore Your Favorite Novel with Python. And yeah, let's just jump straight in, really. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. And let me just bring that up. Okay, so just to tell you a little bit more about what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be starting with just a brief little introduction, and I'm going to talk about what made me put up this meetup, also to set expectations. I'm going to give you a quick little preview of what we're doing today. Then we're going to get into the meaty bit, if you will, and then maybe a little chat. So just to introduce myself briefly. So my name is Laura. I live here in Seoul in Korea, and generally speaking, I would describe myself more as tech adjacent rather than a tech person. So I'm in online marketing for work, and I see coding more as a hobby. And if you want to say hi, it's okay to introduce yourself now. It's also okay to do that later if you wish. So basically what made me put up this meetup, so I have this novel that I've really liked for a long time, which is Kafka's Metamorphosis. And I found that there were so many layers, so many ways of looking at it, that I wanted maybe a sort of tech perspective, just to maybe look at the novel in a different light, if you will. And also just to set expectations. So I see coding as a hobby, and I sort of use it to look at the world around me and to come to conclusions, to ask questions and answer these questions for myself, but I do not use it for work. So just to maybe let you know, because I sometimes get messages from people and they tell me that they started coding last night. Is it okay to attend the meetup? And that is completely okay. Obviously, I'm not a professional myself. So if you have a question, if you want me to go over something again, if you want me to explain anything, I'm happy to do that. If you're a professional and you feel that maybe there is a better way of doing what I'm going to show, then please feel free to pitch in and correct me. I really love different perspectives as well. Maybe if you like, you can add what brings you here today. If you maybe have a book that you like, if you maybe have a certain interest, is there anything that you want to accomplish? Is there maybe somebody that you want to meet? Are you just here for the social aspect? So if you want to talk about that now or later, that's okay as well. And yeah, moving on. So just to give you a preview of what we're doing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to read in our data. We're going to decode a little bit and normalize as well. Afterwards, we're going to be tokenizing, removing some noise, some stop words. Then we're going to lematize and carry out POS tagging, part of speech tagging. And after that, we're going to have a little chat and maybe also set some goals, maybe some dates for the next meetup. So just to switch screens for a second, just give me a moment while I share my code editor. Someone else has joined us. Yeah, okay, so I can see we have somebody else joining. If you want to say hi in the chat, that's completely fine. But the meetup is currently being recorded, just letting you know. And yeah, just give me a second. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so that is displaying. So here's my code editor. And so the first thing that I did when I wanted to look at the novel, which is Kafka's Metamorphosis, the first thing I did was just read in several libraries, and I'm just going to pop them in the chat as well. So if you want to code along or if you want to have them for reference, you can refer to them as well. Just a sec. Okay, and just to briefly go over what each of them does. So The first one here, it basically helps you open URLs. And then the second one is to parse and to part of speech tag. The next one is to remove stop words, filler words. The next one is to lematize, and again, another one to, excuse me, to tokenize. And what I found was when I was running this on my machine at home is I actually had to install my, what do you call it, my installer. So I've put in a little note in there as well, just in case you have that as well. And then the next thing I did was, so even though I had actually installed NLTK via my, oh golly, what do you call it? Via the terminal, I still found that I still had to download the actual package. And in case you need to do that as well, I'm just going to put that here, like so. And just for reference, it did take me a little moment to download everything. So if you're coding along, I'll just give you a second to maybe use those libraries and just install everything. If you want me to pause, if you need some more time, it's completely okay. Just let me know in the chat. The chat is not being recorded. It's just the screen. If you're in attendance, if you're trying to code along, yeah, you're okay. Yeah, I'll give you a moment. Sorry, your name is Dennis Lam. Yep. I'll just give you a second. And if you maybe have a book that you're interested in, maybe now is the time to open your Gutenberg page and pick your book. Is there anything you want me to explain? Anything you want me to go over? Do you need more time? Do you want me to move on? What do you feel like? Okay. Radio silence. I'm just going to assume it's okay to move on. And please add a message into the chat if you feel like I'm going too fast. You're set. Okay, brilliant. Okay, all right, so moving on. So the next thing I did was I read in my Gutenberg book, and let me just put that in the chat as well, like so. And now here's the thing, right? So if you have a book yourself, all you need to do you see these little numbers here, 5200, 5200? So all you need to do is just take these numbers and then replace your book's numbers with these 4 numbers as well. And that's it. Okay. And then just to kind of check that you are doing the right thing, you can check your response request, like so. And then at the moment, all it is just an object. So we can't really see much. But if we want to read in what we have, and if we want to decode, we can just read it in like so. And let me just put that in the chat as well. Okay. And then what it says down here, it says, okay, it exceeds the size limit. So what we can do, if we do want to see the whole thing, we can go over here and just look at the output. And then we just have all the text directly from the internet. It's all there. Brilliant. I'll just give you a moment. And again, same for the text here. So if you have your text, just replace the numbers. Then Islam, can I ask, are you choosing the same text? Are you picking something else? Or maybe for Jin as well, are you just watching? Are you coding along? What are you up to? Oh, Dante's Inferno. Oh, wow. A classic. Is it good? I haven't read it myself. Okay, I'll just give you a second. You're just watching. Oh, okay. Let me know if you want to speak in Korean, Jin. That's totally fine. Okay. Now, so we've got our information, and yeah, just to kind of look, just to kind of check that we've got the right type of data. So if you read in your data, you should have a string at this point. And just to normalize it, just so everything is on the same page, if you will, is you can use the inbuilt lower function. And if you want to check what you have, you can just sort of check your little beginning. And it should print the beginning of your novel, like so, roughly. Okay. And now what I have is, yeah, I've got all my text here. Nice and easy. And then the next thing is, yeah, we can tokenize. And then what I really like about coding on a sort of meta level, if you will, is there are so many ways of achieving what you want to do. So for example, you can use regular expressions, you can use some inbuilt Python functions. What I liked, in my case, I used a tokenizer and combined that with a regular expression at the same time. And yeah, just to put that in the chat like so. Okay, excuse me, hiccups. And now what I have here is I have, yeah, a list, if you will, and it's been tokenized. And it looks pretty much ready, but if you have a look here, we have a lot of filler words, right? We have the, we have of, by, this, for, all these things. They don't really help us interpret a text. They don't really do anything for us in the sense that they give us insights or certain vocabulary, certain words that are maybe combined more often than others. So the next thing we can do is to remove some stop words. And the first thing we do is we actually define our stop words. I'm using English. I think you can probably use other languages as well. I haven't tried it myself. But this being a virtual international meetup, if you will, I've used an English novel with English stop words. Okay. And then I was actually curious what these stop words were. And yeah, these are all these filler words. You can have a look if you wish. So they don't really add meaning to the text. Okay. And then the next thing was to use a list comprehension and only pick the words that are not stop words. Okay, and let me just pop that in the chat. So that is the text minus the stop words. And then once I run that, actually, let me just zoom in a little bit. Hold on. Is that better? Can you see better now? Yeah, that's better. Okay. Let me know if you want to zoom in more, but I think that's good now. Okay. Yeah, so we've got all that, and now we have the text up here. We don't have any filler words. It's been tokenized. Brilliant. The next thing we can do is we can lematize. And I actually wanted to check if it works, so I'll put a little test in here, if you will. So first we basically define the lematizer, like so. Yeah, that was just a little check for myself. So how does it actually work? If you put in churches, it lemmatizes to church. So it reduces the words to their base, to their root words, if you will. Seems to work, okay. And then I lemmatized my text, next slide. Okay, and then I had a little look. Does it actually lemmatize? Yeah. And it has indeed reduced them to their base words. So there are now plural nouns, that sort of thing. For example, here, there are now third-person conjugations. Everything's been reduced to its base. I haven't stemmed because it looks like, when I was looking up stuff on Codecademy and also the internet, it looks like stemming can be quite inaccurate, if you will, where it sort of chops off endings of words that shouldn't be chopped off. So I chose to lemmatize. And then the last thing I did was I tagged these words, so I actually know, are they nouns, are they adjectives, what's actually happening. Okay, and then what we have is, okay, project is a noun, Gutenberg is a noun, ebook is a noun. Okay, looking good. What else do we have? Well, okay, we have some verbs. Okay, no is an adjective? I don't think so. So maybe not everything here is quite accurate. Friendly, yeah, okay, can be an adjective. Yeah, okay, good. Verb, okay. So maybe not to trust everything blindly, but yeah, okay. So everything kind of seems to have worked so far. And what I was thinking is, I was thinking either maybe next week or maybe the week after next to maybe start with some parsing, maybe to get a better insight into things, if you will. Can I just check, is there anything, is there maybe a certain date that you prefer? If you're not planning on attending next time, that's completely okay too. But if you have a certain date preference or maybe a certain time preference, I can take that on board. That's it for the meaty bit, if you will. And I'm just going to stop recording for a second, and then we're going to chat. Okay, and stop.